So I have some boxes of yarn that I really desperately need to organise and store behind the curtain there. Even though there isn't really any more room necessarily, but I think with some rejiging, I'm able to fit them in somewhere. That does mean that I need to have a little bit of a reshuffle, reorganise, and I thought we would do it together, go through my yarn stash. The majority of my yarn is on these shelves here, and I need to fit these things up in there somehow. So let's just do that together. I've had my wrist tattoos touched up this morning, so just ignore the cling film. I was going to take it off, but then I didn't want all the like fibres and yarns to scratch the fresh tattoo, so I'm going to keep them on whilst I'm organising in here. So aside from the boxes here, I also have a box of yarn which was very kindly sent to me by a Dutch brand called Stephen and Penelope. They sent this to me probably over a year ago now, which must have been just before we moved in this house, so I didn't want to like do any organising or anything at the time. So it's long overdue to go through this yarn and organise it. Also on this side, I have this blue cabinet, which used to live downstairs in our living room whilst I didn't have like an office space. I basically just worked from the living room, so this is where I kept all of my sort of working yarn in there, and it is a mess in there. A lot of the yarn is like really tangled. There's like letters in there as well that I need to sort out. Yeah, I really need to go through this and just use this storage more efficiently. I think at the bottom here there is more yarn. I don't even know what's in here. Yeah, but otherwise there is some storage in here, so I can use that as well. I genuinely could not tell you what's in here, so let's have a quick look. Oh, I remember this is the Knitting from Olive yarn that I ordered when they did the Palestine donation thing. So I have a bunch of this soft silk mohair in the colour brown bear, a few skeins of this merino yarn in licorice. So I need to store that somewhere as well. So my current setup has been the same for a while now. However, my business structure and like the way that I knit and crochet now is slightly different, so I do definitely think it's time for me to change it up. So at the top row here I have a random box of mohair yarn, whips, finished and finished. I will never finish my whips, I just know that by now. I'm not going to finish whips from a year or two ago because they're probably not my style anymore. So I'm probably going to frog a lot of this and reuse the yarn. In terms of my finished pieces, I need to see whether I now like them more so I can wear them. If not, possibly also will frog and reuse the yarn. Either way, I don't use any of these things enough for them to be like a top shelf, so I think they're gonna go on the top here in like larger boxes similar to these, so then I can reuse these things to store my yarn in, because they are quite easy to like take out and stuff. And I could actually categorize them more clearly as well by like wool, mohair, cotton, etc. In this box I have all of my brushed acrylic, mainly the Hobby Leader of the Pack yarn, which is this one, which is also the one that I used to make this cardigan. It's just my favorite yarn to work with, so I have a lot of it. Probably just need to go through and organize a little bit better, but I'm happy to keep that as is. This currently holds a lot of Snowdrops yarn, which I don't want to really use anymore. I'm gonna see if I can use it for something else, otherwise I might try and sell it on Facebook Marketplace because I don't really have enough like projects that I can use it for. I was had a quick look in here the other day and there's like another bunch of random like yarn that I ordered from Hobby. Then in this box we just kind of have a random amount of yarn skeins. There's some acrylic in there, I think there's a couple wool things in there, some other things, I don't really know. These are like the last leftover bits from when I used to buy my yarn second hand. I got rid of a lot of that because secondhand yarn was really useful when I started out, but now my projects are a lot more specific and I need specific yarn for those projects. So I found it really hard over the last year to work with secondhand yarn. So that's kind of the last leftover bits from that. And then in this box, it's just this flashy colours yarn, which I got a lot of on eBay, which I think is your best bet to buy this yarn. This is 40% acrylic, 40% polyamide, 20% mohair. These cakes, I did a lot of the sort of knit dresses when I worked on my knitting machine. I've done a couple of things by hand with this as well. It is really cute, obviously, because it's self-striping, and I have a lot of colours. Might need to revisit. I have a lot of this. I don't think I can really put it in a smaller box, but I might keep it up here as well because I don't use this yarn currently that much. Maybe I'll use it more another time. At the bottom here is fabric and scrap fabric, so I'm not going to touch those. I'm happy to just keep them sort of at the bottom outside. So we're going to focus on the top 3 shelves plus the top here. I'm just going to organise on the floor, lay everything out and see kind of what I have, what categories I can come up with as well maybe, and then we'll go from there. My plan is to start with the boxes that I pretty much already have organised, like the brushed acrylic, Hobbycraft yarn, that's pretty much all the same brand, flashy colours, all the same brand. This one, the cotton yarn box is an absolute stay, and then obviously all the extra boxes. I feel like everything kind of looks already quite organised, but it's just not organised enough for me yet. I need to just have a bit more of some kind of structure going on. Believe it or not, I actually organised this box the other day and it already looks like this. So that's, yeah, just the reality of it. There's a bunch of this loose kind of yarn, so I'm going to take that out and then just start with the full skeins and go from there. I'll take these out of their bag actually. I'm actually going to do this properly this time as well, and I'll frog any sort of samples that went wrong and put it back into my yarn pile, because I always tell myself, yeah, I'm going to frog it, and then I never do, and then they just kind of sit around. So I'm not letting that happen again. We're doing this properly this time. It will slow things down, but it will be worth it. So all my flashy colours yarn is now wound up. A lot of them needed proper winding up because the cakes themselves are really loosely wound. A lot of the time I would have just taken like one layer out and then they're just kind of, they're a bit flimsy. And then I also made one cake with like loads of different colours in it. So this one will be self-striping. So that one could be quite fun actually to like make something with it. But I'm now gonna try and in this side of the box put my t-shirt yarn that I got in Spain. The reason for that is because the flashy colours yarn is probably one of my least likely ones for me to work with in the near future, and so is the t-shirt yarn. So I think it makes sense to keep them all in there together. Hope they all fit. I might have to just squeeze them a little bit. All right, it does fit, so that's pretty good. And then I think this is gonna go on the very top of my shelf. Then we have my random box of drop snow, Drops alpaca silk, more drops snow. We have some drops fable and drops air, maybe. And then just a random amount of hobby yarn. These are kids silk mohair, so they can go in a different one. This one's wool, and more mohair, so they already don't belong in this box. And then I'm gonna take the brushed alpaca out as well. I think I'll put this in with the mohairs just because of the brushed frizziness of it, I guess. And then the drops fable is a wool and polyamide mix, so I'm gonna add this to the wool pile. I have an empty box here, and I think I'm going to put all of the mohair in here. I don't know if it needs that big of a box, but I don't know. I guess I could do half, but then I do have a lot of mohair in this box. Let me unpack this one. This is a bunch of secondhand yarn I always forget about, but it is so beautiful. This is the label. It's got a ticket on it. The label looks like that, and it is 67% mohair, 28% wool, 5% polyamide. Yeah, it seems very old from the tag, but it is beautiful. It has this like purpley, orangey kind of mix to it, which is gorgeous, and I have so much of it. The only thing is that it does feel a little bit scratchy, so I think that's why I've been put off making anything with it so far, but I do really need to have a little think about, I know, what kind of projects I could do with it. Then there's a bunch more secondhand stuff. This is an alpaca mohair blend, again, an old label. This one doesn't have a label on, so I kind of just assumed that it might have some mohair or something brushed in it. And then, yeah, I just have like a bunch of random colours, which these actually look beautiful together, this colourway. Another one, just a random blue. Oh, I actually have a tag on this. I want to say these are the same, probably. So this one is actually 85 acrylic and 15% mohair. So I'll still keep it in with the mohairs here. Then I have a bunch more of this hobby kids silk, some kind of whip, I guess, which I need to try and frog. Frogging mohair is always so fun, isn't it? I also have this blue striped one, which I did make a jump out of, which I've sold. So this is the label for that. And it's 77% mohair, 14% wool, and 9% polyamide. So I do actually have quite a lot of mohair, alpaca type things that I can fill this with. So I'm just gonna do that. I might put all of my secondhand yarn on this side and my new yarn on this side, and then I can kind of keep them separate that way. So this one's a bit messy, but I have my secondhand yarn and my new yarn. There's a bunch of this drops air, which I ordered to make one of the cardigans that I've been working on, which is the one that I'm currently wearing. I want to try the drops air for this instead of the Hobbycraft yarn and see how it turns out. And I've wanted a black cardigan for the longest time, so I think that could look really cute. It's a bit confusing because there's a lot of black going on. I have the Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair here, and I also have the drops brushed alpaca silk as well. So yeah, all looks a bit samey, but that is pretty nice that I have all of this in here. So then I just have a box of random acrylic and wool yarn, so I want to split those. I have more acrylic here that I found as well, a bunch of wool from Knitting from Olive, and also lots of drops wool in here. The Stylecraft wool and acrylic blends, which is probably why I started this box, because they're quite hard to differentiate. Oh no, this one's 100% acrylic, and then this one I think is 75% acrylic and 25% wool, but I think I will still class these as acrylic. And then this one, 80% acrylic, 20% wool. This one's 100% acrylic. These are secondhand, 100% acrylic, and these are secondhand as well. Look how cute the label is on that, but this one's 100% wool. So this will have to go in here. This again, second hand, 62% acrylic, 23% nylon, 50% wool. So this one's acrylic as well. I have no idea what I would make with this. I would often buy secondhand yarn when I could get a lot of skeins from the same colour, but realistically this is not the kind of colours I would ever work with. So I might sort these out. Someone else might get more use out of them, so I might pop these on Facebook Marketplace. I got this from my grandma, I think. It's a cotton, polyamide, alpaca and wool mix. Got 2 skeins of these, and I have made a top from this before, which I have never worn ever, and I don't really know what else I would make with this yarn. I've had this for quite a few years now, so I possibly will also sort these out. Then these are really cool. So I got a bunch of these. I don't really know what kind of yarn this even is. It's a 50% wool, 50% linen blend, which I love, a linen blend yarn, and this is the label. Again, not really sure what I would make with these, but these are so cool, and they kind of are all different colours, so I think this would look really nice as a jumper. I just don't think I have enough of it to make a jumper out of it. They're not even full 50-gram skeins, so I need to have a little look what I could do with these. I'm gonna add these to the wool pile. This also brings me to the gorgeous Stephen and Penelope yarn that I was sent a while back. I do need to wind these all into a ball, but until I do that, I'm just going to pop them in a box. So these are 100% wool as well. This is all the bicycle range that they do. This is starting to make me think that I'm better off using this box for the wool and maybe cram these into a smaller box. I'm just going to take these out for now and sort the acrylic later. I want to just go through my wool yarn first. So I ordered a bunch of drops yarn. I have the drops alpaca uni colour. I don't know if that's the same. Yeah, they're both 100% alpaca. And then I got drops lima, which is 65% wool and 35% alpaca. These are mainly for some more Scooty samples that I want to make. This colour is going to be for my mum, so I'm just going to make a medium length for her. This is going to be her Christmas present. It's not a surprise, she has asked for this specifically, so don't need to keep that one a secret. And I wanted to try the alpaca for a while now, because alpaca I think is like my favourite fibre. I think that's why I like the Hobbycraft yarn so much, because it has a bit of alpaca in there. I just think it's so soft and so nice to work with. So I thought just to, I don't know, try some different ones. I also got the Lima, the Drops Lima one, which I got in this brown and red. I was kind of hoping the brown was more of like a yellow, to be honest. It looked very different on the website. But yeah, this is going to be one stripe version. And then I got some more of the alpaca in a green and a purple. I saw this kids jumper on Pinterest and I love the colourway of that, so I wanted to make something with these stripes as well. So I think they're all going to be Scooties. Probably one of them will be a crochet one of them will be a knit one, and then this one from my mum will definitely be a knit one. It's actually not as full as I thought it would be, but I'm fine with that, because I think out of all the fibres, I'm most likely to top up on wool and alpaca. But how gorgeous do all these colours look? It's a lot more muted than some of the other ones, which I think that's very much the autumnal, wintry vibe anyway. So I'm very happy with this box. I had to take a little break because I was getting very overwhelmed and overstimulated by all the strands of yarn getting all tangled. So I thought I would take 5 minutes and take a deep breath, and I feel better now. Found this box of more yarn in here somewhere. Didn't realise this existed. I also put some of the boxes already in there just to figure out space-wise what I wanted to do next, and I have one gap there which I'm going to fill with cotton yarn, and then I've kind of hit my main fibre spots with the easiest access. My cotton is first of all mega tangled, and I'm terrified to tackle this, which is why I had to take a little break, because I knew this is what I was coming back to. But usually what I would do is I would just like pop them all up in there, and then it's quite nice to just like grab from above. So I want to get back to that. And then I do also have this whole box, with more cotton yarn that I brought from Spain. I don't have another one of these boxes, like the long ones, which I think is fine because in the summer especially, I like to just take this down to the living room and work from that. So I'm gonna make 2 of these boxes. I'm gonna empty this one into something else. I have 2 more boxes of these. This one currently holds my cones of yarn, but I'm thinking of putting the cones into the bottom drawer here because I never really use them that much, and you can't take out the drawers of this blue thing. So ideally I would just keep things in there that I rarely need access to. These cones are again all secondhand, and I used to have a lot more of them, but I already sorted through a lot of them. I only kept my favourite. So I have this really thin green colour. Again, no idea what fibre this is. This might be acrylic, I don't know. Same with this, it's very similar, but it literally has no information in the cone. This one's like quite a soft one. It says llama blend in there. I don't know, could be. This one is kind of a fuzzy brush material. This one I've actually used a lot. It's the acrylic linen polyamide mix. It's very pretty, has like a really nice sort of sheen to it. And then I have a couple of these, one in brown, one in light brown. I'm also just gonna empty everything from here into this box, and then I'll be able to sort through it much better. This is genuinely infuriating. I don't know how and why I keep letting this happen, because I have to do this twice a year, I'd say, and I just never learn. I always tell myself, do not let it get to this point, you know, wind up your skeins properly, and then this happens. I mean, look at that. That's actually, it's just too much. Luckily, it's only cotton yarn. If this was mohair, this would have to go. There's just no way I would do any of this. But cotton is quite forgiving. Like, I can kind of just pull on the strings and stuff like that. What makes this whole situation so much worse is that a lot of this mess is from me frogging projects where I held the yarn double. So once I've solved this whole thing, I need to also wind up the balls to be single-stranded again, just because I obviously don't know what future projects I need to use this yarn for, and it's not guaranteed that that will be double-stranded. I think what I need to do for the double-stranded project is I just need to use the 8x8 cotton yarn rather than the 8x4, because that one's obviously just naturally thicker. But yeah, I'm gonna probably be occupied with this for a long time. I have to say, when you do unravel something like this one just now, it is the most satisfying thing in the whole world. Got a bit of a system going on. I'm putting all the skeins that I've saved in here. All the skeins that need winding up properly, like they're kind of just that, and that's probably going to cause knots again if I just throw them in here. They are here. All the kind of projects that I was able to fish out of this box, like samples, random bits that I started to frog, they're all over here. And yeah, that's that. I'm just gonna hope and pray that I can fix this somehow. I really thought I would be able to finish it all in the same day. However, it is the next day. I didn't get to finish it all yesterday. I think I really underestimated how much of a mess I let things get to, and just generally how long this would take me. And also the cotton yarn yesterday was just the final straw, to be honest. It was an absolute killer. I did persevere. I did manage to pretty much untangle everything. This is the state of the box now. There is still some stuff that I need to fix. So I clearly started to unravel this, whatever this was. I think this was going to be like a cardigan or a bag, at the same time as using that yarn for something. I don't know, it's all in here, it's all tangled, so I still need to do that. I have also, as I think showed you yesterday, been collecting bunches of yarn that need winding up, that are just kind of like loose and I know are going to cause trouble if I throw them back in there. So that I all need to wrap up properly. But I did find that this bunch especially is such a nice like colour situation. So I'm gonna try and keep all of these together somewhere, because I think they could be really nice like all together in a project. I don't know what yet. I have also boxed up some of my acrylic yarn in here. So I have a bunch of, just large skeins in there. I haven't really got anything planned with acrylic yarn, so I'm just gonna throw it right on top of the shelf there, out of the way, right here. And then I'm gonna do the other box next to it, so I'll have my acrylic yarn up there. I did obviously sort out a bunch of yarn, which includes mainly a lot of drop snow. And I actually remembered, I'll put the video here. I saw this reel of someone making a full-on like felted jacket with drop snow, and I completely forgot about that until this morning. So I think I'm still gonna hold on to the drop snow. Don't know where to keep it. I thought I had a few more plastic boxes, but I clearly don't. So I'm just gonna keep this to the side for now. I won't get rid of it yet. I think I'll still get rid of these, but I'm gonna just do that whenever I head to the charity shop the next time, and I'll just donate it there. I need to seriously sort out this box because that is just messy. But I wanted to get to a point now where I have like the yarn fibre categories, so any random bits that I now find, I know exactly where to put it based on what fibre it is. So yeah, let's just get stuck into it. I'm hoping that once all that cotton is wound back up, that's me done with winding stuff up, and we can just wrap this all up and I can tidy in here as well. ever shown you all the samples that I made for my knit scooty. Found them all again. I started with the pink one. So first I made a normal square, and then I don't really know the exact order of things, but I made another square. I think I tested some different stitch pattern, and then I made another square, loads of squares, another square with different stitch patterns. Probably went back and decided I didn't like those, so I made some more different stitch patterns, and then a tiny little sample. So that was all the pink ones, and then I went on to do the blue colour. A nice little sample stitches here, a square, a corner. I clearly couldn't be asked to do more squares. Another little corner, another corner, a full square. There we go, that must have been the end of it. So a lot of samples. I have absolutely no idea what to do with them all now. It's gonna be such a pain to frog all of these because it's such a like fuzzy material. So yeah, no idea what to do with that. I found a few more things I would like to frog. Oh, here's another one, another square. Yeah, some more things I need to frog, and then I should be done in theory. Unless I find any more yarn, I really hope I don't, but this should be it now. I want to say that I'm done. It is the third day of tidying, and I've finally finished it somewhat. I spent like 2.5 hours yesterday just winding up balls of yarn, and I was pretty done at that point. So I left the rest for today and I got it done, which is very exciting. Now, I do still have all of this yarn that I need to frog, but I am just not going to do that this week or anytime soon. I'm gonna just do that another time. I feel like I am all frogged out at this point. Let's go through my new organisation, all my yarn. It's looking pretty good. So let me pull back the curtains dramatically. We have this, and of course, the main side. So what I've done in the blue case here, the filing cabinet, the top drawer is all of my sort of finished makes and most current. So I have like my knit scooty in here. I have my other knit scooties, and they previously were just living here on the bench, but it was just getting kind of messy. And that way I have instant access to them for taking pictures, taking measurements, all that kind of thing. So all my most recent stuff is in here. We will see what the longevity of this sort of organisation is, because I can kind of imagine myself just dumping stuff in there. And obviously I already showed you in the bottom drawer down here I have my cones of yarn, and I don't really see myself touching them very much anyway, so it's good to have them out of the way. And quick run through, you've pretty much already seen these. I have all of my lead of the pack skeins in here. Those I use for obviously this cardigan, my knit scooties, my crochet scooties, anything that I need like a good Aran weight yarn for. Then all of my sort of mohair alpacas are in here. Some of them, like the alpaca, the drops alpaca, could possibly be alternatives to this yarn. I still need to figure that one out. Wasn't able to reorganize these. I would like to go through them eventually, because there are some interesting projects in there. Like this one, for example, I have like full on jumpers in there, like this granny square jumper that I use for one of my tutorials, this sort of scrappy beige jumper that is quite nice, but I just don't really wear it. I have a beanie in here, didn't realise, look how crumpled that is. Oh, some of my bonnets, the really old bonnets, which I was gonna rewrite a pattern for, but then I turned them into the scooty. This is the top that I was talking about with the yarn that I'm going to donate. It's all stuck together. It's a nice like texture, but I just will never wear it. So things like that I just don't really know what to do with, because I'm not selling any sort of ready-made pieces on my website anymore, just because of the nightmare that is shipping internationally from the UK. So yeah, I need to, I don't know, figure something out. It feels like a shame just having them sitting around, especially because they've been sitting in these boxes for years now. So I really need to do something so I can utilize the space a bit more. There are some things that I do see myself possibly frogging, just so I can reclaim the yarn, really. There's this vest which uses the leader of the pack yarn, which I have never worn, and I could easily frog this and reuse the yarns. Same with this one, it's like like a linen-y sort of yarn. Again, anything knit I think is a lot easier to frog than crochet because it's not so knotted. I could easily frog this and reuse the yarn because this has a lovely drape. Yeah, there's just like a bunch of stuff in here that I could reuse more, yeah, efficiently, effectively. I might just have to put it into my calendar, you know, to frog a couple pieces each week, and then it doesn't feel so overwhelming having to do it all at the same time. You already seen the box of acrylic yarn that I've got up here. Down here we have a couple boxes of cotton. We have all of these colours, and then obviously this one, which took forever to frog, but look at all of these colours that I have in here now. It was definitely worth it because I do use this yarn so much, mostly in the summer. So when summer comes around, I will be very happy that I've done that. My box of wool, which it smells weird in there. Like the wool yarn just smells funky. A couple more boxes of things I could potentially frog in the future. And then I had one empty box in here, and it's not the most useful place to keep this in, but I have made a box of most recent whips. I have like 3 projects in here. There's the granny square bag that I'm working on, another scooty that I've kind of put on hold for now, and then this t-shirt yarn bag. So this I think I'll just keep with, yeah, new whips, things that I do think I will finish, especially if they're patterns that I'm working on, just so I can like take this box out if I have an evening where I haven't got a current project to work on. I can just pull this out of my shelf and continue working on one of these projects. Then obviously my flashy colours yarn and my t-shirt yarn up here, and then I've also found one more box down here, which I am keeping all the dropped snow yarn in there. I think it's worth just holding on to this for the time being. I would like to make that jacket that I spoke about, but maybe there's like some other projects that in the next couple of years I come across that I could use this yarn for before I try and sell it. Also, I almost forgot to show you, as I was going through my stuff, I found a few samples that I wanted to, yeah, keep a hold of, and I'm kind of slowly filling up my corkboard, so it's looking really nice. I'm glad I've been holding on to these because this has been like what I was working towards. So we have samples from my Lola headbands, these black samples from my Fia skirts. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up my yarn organisation video. This took so much longer than I thought, and I also had way less stamina than I thought. Like I was getting really bored pretty quickly. I found, same actually when I was painting this room, that listening to audiobooks is like the only thing I can get boring tasks like this. I started listening to Babel because I saw in one of Sydney Graham's vlogs that she was listening to it, and then I had to listen to it obviously, and that one was really, really good to listen to. It just kind of made yesterday's like yarn winding go so much quicker. So that's one recommendation I have for you if you are planning to organize your stash. Another thing I would really recommend is to wear a mask, especially if you're winding up a lot of balls of yarn, because last night my throat was on fire. I keep sneezing. It's just, I think, easy to underestimate the amount of fibers that go flying in the air, and I'm particularly sensitive to like allergens and stuff like that, so I'm struggling now. So yeah, wear a mask, do it in bursts, don't do it all in one go. And I am so happy I've done this. Like, this is so satisfying. I don't feel so overwhelmed when I'm, you know, thinking about what yarn I have available to me, because I can see it now. Thought about keeping like a digital database of all of my yarn, but that just seemed like such a waste of time to me. Like, it would take me so long to do that. And honestly, as long as I can see all my yarn, I know what I have got. It's just before I did all of this, I couldn't see, so I didn't know. But now I know. Anyways, I am dying to wrap up this video. It is pouring it down with rain outside, and all I want to do is sit on the sofa with my crochet project and watch Escape to the Country. I think this has been my main motivation today, to get everything tidy, because that's all I want to do for the rest of the day, really. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Thank you always so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time. Goodbye.